7:35, and we're lucky to get them a little bit earlier. Means that we get to talk to them, I think, a little bit longer. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome to the show this morning, Mr. Clint Black. How are you this morning, Clint?
Hey, good morning. I'm counting my blessings here in Nashville. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, you know, we're not as wet as you guys have gotten over the weekend back there. How'd you survive?
We did fine. We had a show near Little Rock where the tornado touched down. We had to run for shelter in the city hall a couple of times. They finally canceled the show. We followed the storms home and then got home, and everyone had to make it across town to their homes and did just fine. We've got some downed trees, and one of the guys had the basement flooded, so we're counting ourselves lucky. There's some homes that have burnt down in this, the flooding, people killed, a lot of homes and cars lost. Just really bad weekend here.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing because so often we think, you know, as a star and all the things that you have been blessed with, that you would be immune to the everyday occurrences like this that Mother Nature dishes out, but you are just as human as everybody else is.
Nobody's immune. You hope you're smart enough to do all the right stuff when things like this happen. And, you know, we just counting our blessings today.
Well, Clint, glad to have you here. You know, before we've had a couple opportunities. You were once here, I don't know if you remember, years ago here in Eureka. And I think during the middle of the show we had a power outage or something like that happen. And then had a chance to meet up with you and catch you before, or since then, down in the Kelseyville area. But we're going to be able to catch you now on the TV and on our big screens at home, because you're coming out on that in Flicka 2 tomorrow on the DVD. And that DVD has some extras on it, too. It's got some conversations with you. That's pretty cool.
It's got that, and it's got a documentary on the North American Mustangs. And, yeah, and it's a really nice family movie. My character is kind of a lighthearted guy who's watching his buddy struggle with Flicka, and his daughter who's come from the city to live with him. And we went to the premiere last week here in Nashville at the Belcourt Theater and watched it with an audience in the theater. It was fun.
What kind of response do you get from your fellow country artists and stuff? I mean, more and more of you are starring in movies. Of course, you know, Tim's had a couple of big ones there, and this isn't the first time that you've starred in one, but you probably got to take a little good-natured ribbing from some of your friends in the area.
Well, it depends on, you just hope they're laughing in the right spot. But Steve Warner, Scott Hamilton has brought their families out and to the premiere, and they were kind to me. But yeah, we tend to have a little fun at each other's expense when we can.
Now, as I said, you've been in a couple of roles beforehand, outside of, you know, being the great country singer and songwriter that you are. What were some of the other films that you have starred in the past?
Well, I had a small role in Maverick. Lisa and I developed a movie for CBS called Still Holding On, the Jack Favor story. And I did a movie with Jason Robards, and I'm probably forgetting something. I've done a lot of sitcoms and some TV shows like Las Vegas and the Larry Sanders Show. I hadn't done anything in quite a while when this came up. I got on the phone with the director, Michael Damian, who's an actor, to make sure he understood what he was getting, and he took good care of me. It was we shot it in Kamloops, British Columbia. Beautiful up there on this huge reserve. And, you know, sitting around, people bring you food, take you where you need to go. You get up and pretend you're Toby, and it's a really, really great job. I left there feeling like I really want to do more of that. So there may be something here in the future. So
you're totally open if someone came up with another role that you like the role, you'd be totally open to doing some more of this? Yeah,
I am. You know what? I'm just careful. I try to know what my limitations are. Rather do comedy more than anything, so I keep an eye out for the roles like this one in Flicka 2 that I think I can understand.
Okay. Let me ask you a question here. You were on Celebrity Apprentice, and on that show, you were there, and Jess James was there. And someone said, I think it was Donald, the Don, said the other day that you had a sense that this guy wasn't really measuring up to the great husband role that we all thought he was, and now, of course, apparently was not. Was there evidence? Or did you have something that you knew that just wasn't getting out, but you observed?
I really didn't know that much about Jesse. He had bragged in an article after he became famous that he had stolen Scott Hamilton's Porsche way back when he was running the streets, and Scott joked that he was his favorite thief, and we had some laughs about that, but I didn't really know that much. I didn't have any sense of anything in his personal life, and his behavior on the show. I sort of took everything with a grain of salt, not knowing if someone was being themselves or if they were game playing strategy or they wanted more camera time or what. I tried to take into account that people could be behaving in these ways for all sorts of reasons, and I try not to take it personally, but just, my chief goal was not even to win. It was just to not have someone bring something out of me that I wouldn't be proud of. Just behave myself and try to, keep my character intact.
Would you be open to doing more reality shows, or you want to stick more into some of the film projects?
I think if something were more lighthearted, Apprentice was high pressure, a lot of conflict. People really, I'm lucky, and I work with people. We're all nice to each other and respectful and all that. So it was a little bit of a shock to see up close, even when it wasn't directed at me, people treating each other that way. So I think if it were something that were more in the lighthearted vein, like I did the stand-up comedy bit for Secret Talents of the Stars, that was frightening and challenging, but it was fun and everybody was nice. I think I'm kind of spoiled in that regard, so I'm going to stick with all the niceness.
Well, Clint, like I said, in the opportunities we've had a chance in the past to talk with you and meet up with you and the shows we've seen, the music, you are a nice guy, and we really appreciate that. Music-wise, what's coming up in Clint Black's future?
Well, there won't be anything coming out for a little while. I've been writing with producer Frank Rogers, and we're going to go in the studio May 10th and start working on the recordings. And just little baby steps here, because I'm going to be on tour for a lot of the year. I'll be coming through California, playing some of the wineries up and down the coast, and up and down all the Pacific Northwest, in fact, all the way up to Washington. And so a little bit of touring, a little bit of recording, and I'm also chairperson for the Research to Reality campaign for International Rett Syndrome Foundation. Thanks to my involvement on The Apprentice, I raised $20,000 when I won the task, but Scott Hamilton and I became great friends, and he helped to get us a grant from the Pioneer Fund. So everything we raise, the Pioneer Fund will match up to $1 million. And researchers have reversed this syndrome in mice and feel that it's just a matter of research hours now before they can beat this thing. It affects mostly young girls. It's often misdiagnosed. And you can go to rettsyndrome.org to find out more, or Google International Rett Syndrome Foundation, and help us out. We feel like we're getting close to beating this thing.
Awesome. Scott is a powerhouse of energy and positive energy, isn't he?
Scott Hamilton is just one of the best people I know. A really inspirational book he's got out called The Great Eight. And here's a guy who has really been through the trials and just comes out of it shining. And he got back on the ice up in Cleveland. He set a goal for himself, and saw that on Biography. Just a really great story. One of those people who really inspire you to do better. Yeah,
awesome. Well, you're an inspiration too, Clint. I appreciate you taking time to stop by on the radio tour this morning for the movie Flicka 2. It's out on DVD. It's tomorrow that it's released, correct?
Yeah, it'll be in Walmarts and Sam's Clubs. And a really good story to watch with the family. Won't spark the kind of conversations you're not ready to have yet. And it's fun. It's a nice, really well done movie.
It's good to have those once in a while relax, and we look forward to seeing more of you doing some of those shows and some of that. And, of course, we want to try to catch up with you when you do the West Coast Swing musically. And Clint Black, thanks again for joining us live this morning on this show.
My pleasure. Hope I see you then.
All right. Thanks, Clint.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Bye.